All right, top 10 movies of 2023. I still haven't seen everything obviously made there, but I never will. So we'll make this, it's now January 3rd. I can make this video. It's gonna be part one. So this is my 10 through 6 favorite films made in 2023. Number 10 is, I think, a surprise. A lot of people probably haven't heard of this. It was really a surprise to me. Reality by Tina Sater. It actually is made for TV. It's on HBO Max. And the filmmaking really intrigued me with this particular movie. It's about basically a data leak, someone who leaked data about Russians stealing the election, or at least like trying to steal the 2016 election, or interfere with it at the very least. And it all happens on one morning when the main character, who's played by Sydney Sweeney, this is the first thing I've ever seen her in, I haven't watched Euphoria, basically gets raided by the FBI. And all of it is that discussion between the FBI and her as they're searching her house. And it's really fascinating. I thought I was just gonna kind of pop it on and have it in the background as a made-for-TV movie I want to watch. And I was hooked from minute one. Really interesting decisions. I don't want to get into too much because that was part of the delight of watching this movie. It's like, wow, this is interesting, or this is different, or this is new. The woman's name is Reality, so it's an interesting name for the film because it's just her name, but also it does get into the different stories that are told about particular things and what is the real story, and is there a real story that's even accessible. Really loved this film, really big surprise. Looking forward to more from Tina Sater in the future. This is on HBO Max right now. Number 9 is Past Lives by Celine Song, another debut. Absolutely phenomenal reflection on what your life could have been, how your life takes different directions, choosing who to love. It's sort of an antidote to, a twin flame ideology like this, like that you must have one person that you love. And this is like, no, life is complicated, things happen. You can love lots of people, you can turn into a different person, and all these options are completely fine. And also what I really love about this film is that it puts me somewhere that I will never be. I'm not an immigrant. I was born in the United States, and this is my culture, right? But this film is also about immigration and how that changes you as a person, and how you could have been someone different, and different cultures warring within, especially people who are immigrants. That's what I love about films. They put me in places that I would never be put in myself. And this put me, just briefly, for this little under 2-hour film, in that position. Great film, check it out. I don't know if it's streaming anywhere right now, but great film. Killers of the Flower Moon, Martin Scorsese, one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. We got a new film of his in 2023. He's over 80 years old. Fantastic gift. I think the rewrite of this film is fantastic. If you don't know the story, like, there was one regular script based on the book that was a lot about the FBI and that kind of thing. And then there was a secondary script that came in that told the story from the indigenous people's perspective, or infused more of that in there. Great film. It's long, it's meditative, like we don't normally get, but it is really wonderful. This is a powerful scene. Lily Gladstone and Leo DiCaprio, both of whom I think should get Oscar nods for this. And Lily Gladstone says, "Have you told all your truths?" I feel like she's talking to Leo's character, but she's talking to all of us who live on indigenous land. Really powerful. 7, another huge surprise. A lot of these are like surprises that I wasn't expecting. Rye Lane by Rain Allen Miller, a fantastic film. I know a lot of people say, like, they don't make rom-coms anymore. This is a great rom-com. Incredible, made in 2023. It's like this really weird meet cute between two people at an art exhibit of a mutual friend. And they hit it off, but also in kind of a weird way because they're both coming off of breakups. And it's just like their afternoon they spend it. Most of the film. The third act kind of changes a little bit of the structure. But for the first 2 acts of the film, really you're just with them as they hang out one day talking about their recent breakups. It is so funny. It is so heartfelt. It's so wonderful. I've never had such, I shouldn't say never, but like in a long time, haven't had that moment where at the end, the conclusion really just like hits home in a wonderful way, in a rom-com, better than a lot of films, but in a rom-com. Really beautiful. And also what I love about this movie is it shows the everyday romance of living in a city. Like, when you think of like When Harry Met Sally, New York is a character, and people talk about that all the time. It's like this romanticized version of New York, right? Like walking through New York or Central Park with fall leaves, and like, yes, that does exist. Like I've lived in a city where there are moments like that, but a lot more of the magic is like the day to day. Like you go by a convenience store and someone yells at you something funny and you laugh, and that's what this film has. Like this interaction with a living, breathing city neighborhood all around it that I just loved being. Please check it out. It's on Hulu. Final one for this list that I'm seeing, besides Killers of the Flower Moon, all of these are surprises for me that I wasn't thinking about, like best films of the year when I went into seeing them. But Godzilla Minus One, a Japanese-made film by Takashi Yamazaki, I hope I'm saying that right, shows why Godzilla became a phenomenon. It's not because it's cool and huge and sci-fi and destructive. It's because Godzilla is a fantastic metaphor for the destructions humans impart upon other people. And this film not only takes into account things like, the destruction of an atomic bomb, which we are dealing with in another film that's going to show up here in a little while in Oppenheimer, but this Japanese-made film is taking this idea of the Japanese culture and how so much of it was built up in like greater than yourselves, that they didn't care about lives and how important lives were, and really being critical about that. There's just this wonderful idea of cooperation between humans to form a better world that I just loved. Was not expecting from a Godzilla movie. I cried in this film. There are twists and turns I was not expecting. There's this beautiful story of like found family. There's so much in this. Would strongly recommend. It's still in theaters some places. I would definitely see this on the big screen because there are some beautiful big sequences. Also, I should say, like the sequences of like destruction in this film, it's a Godzilla movie. They're not like, oh, cool. They're like tragic because these are cities where people live and people are dying, and it's really heavy in that way. Really loved this film. Was really surprised by it. Would highly recommend it to anyone, even if you don't like action movies. This is not an action movie. This is a drama that has sci-fi elements. So good. So those are my 10 through 6 favorite films of all time, of this year in 2023.